What did you guys think of 400 Blows?
I loved it.
You loved it?
I loved it.
Yeah? What was it about it that you liked?
Well, the kid, he's got a strong personality. Like he's got a strong will.
Yeah.
Even though he is, I can't say he's rebel, because it's part of being a kid. He felt like he wasn't being understood,
Yeah.
and I think he managed everything pretty well. I think he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked him.
And I like it, you know, when he escapes, he actually accomplishes one of his goals, you know?
Yeah.
He'd never seen the ocean.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, as simple as that may sound, and yet, you know, here he is, he's going for it. I mean, the young actor is just phenomenal in this film.
Yes.
And I think I mentioned to you beforehand, and I'll read you the concluding notes to this, he would go on to appear in a series of other films as the same character, as seen growing up. 4 other films that Truffaut would shoot with Jean-Pierre Léaud over a 20-year period. So in a way, it is kind of similar to Richard Linklater's Boyhood, which is out now. The next film was actually a short that came out 3 years later in 1962 called Antoine and Colette, where he meets his first love. And then he's going to fall in love again with a girl named Christine, this time in a movie called Stolen Kisses from 1968. So he's another 9 years older. And then he's going to marry her 2 years later in Bed and Board from 1970. And then, unfortunately, the couple is going to separate in Love on the Run. But yes, you know, they had a good, they had a good run, if you will. What else do I want to tell you about Léaud, the young actor himself? He would go on to become a very noted French actor, appearing in a number of films by other famous French directors, everyone from Jacques Rivette, Jean-Luc Godard, Agnes Varda. He would act in 9 films for Jean-Luc Godard. He would also appear in films by Jean Cocteau, Pasolini, Bertolucci, oh my God, Kaurismäki. He would end up being awarded an honorary César, the French version of the Academy Awards, by the French Academy for Lifetime Achievement in 2000. Truffaut himself would have 24 years as a filmmaker, during which he would make 24 feature films. Some of his more well-known titles: Shoot the Piano Player from 1960, Jules and Jim from 1962. He would do an absolutely wonderful adaptation of Ray Bradbury's science fiction work, Fahrenheit 451.
He did that?
He did that. Cinematography by Nicholas Roeg, who would go on to become a director in his own right. Wonderful film from 1965. There would be The Wild Child from 1970. Day from Night, probably his most famous film from 1973, that would end up winning the Oscar for Best Foreign Film that year. His later works would include The Story of Adele H. and The Last Metro from 1980. You might have actually seen Francois Truffaut himself. He would do a couple of acting turns. If any of you saw this little film called Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Yes, Truffaut is in that movie. He plays the French scientist. So chances are all you guys have seen him, because I think everyone's seen that movie. I mentioned to you earlier that he had a real love for Alfred Hitchcock's work. If you're ever out combing through the film shelves of bookstores and you find this very thick tome that just says on its side, Truffaut, Hitchcock. He spent a number of weeks interviewing the Grand Master on every one of his films, finding out all the details that went into the production of them and what Hitchcock had in mind. And that pretty much is the seminal textbook out there on Hitchcock. Truffaut would actually pay homage to the master of suspense in the 1968 film The Bride Wore Black. I don't know if any of you have seen that, but I swear to you, if you put that film on, you would bet the farm that you're watching an Alfred Hitchcock movie. You know, right down to having Elmer Bernstein composing the music. Elmer, forget. The same composer for Hitchcock doing the camera shots, everything. I mean, it's, you know, you could tell that he was studying at the master's feet, because this film is just incredible. Truffaut would depart us way too early. He would die from a brain tumor at the early age of 52. In 1983. I mean, a tremendous loss, I think. His final film is a movie called Confidentially Yours from 1983, shot in black and white, and it would be his second homage to Alfred Hitchcock. It's also a suspense film, as well as being his very last movie. You can see, I hope, when I said a sense of fun, I know that's kind of hard to convey, but there's some moments in this film which would not have necessarily appeared in cinema before, yet give us such a experiential taste of what our young character is going through. I think in particular, of course, that wonderful scene at the beginning, I think I heard you comment on it, Rico, when he goes into the gravity-defying room where it was spinning. I mean, that's wonderful. The guignol, the puppet theater that they go to, the faces of the little kids.
That was amazing.
Just so beautiful. And,
Yeah.
you know, and I can't help but think of myself when I'm watching a movie, and you know what my face, you know, was like,
Right.
getting all involved in it,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
And just all these little fun elements. How about the physical education teacher? You know, that's one of my favorite moments. It's like with every turn of the corner, another group just disappears. It's like just two kids, you know, behind him. And the interview with the psychologist. Awesome moment.
Yeah.
You know, I'd been reading about it. They're saying that, you know, that was pretty much improvisation. Just
Wow.
leaving it up to the kid, being asked these questions, and he was coming up with these answers, and it feels so real. It feels so true.
It did, yes.
He's almost breaking the fourth wall. He doesn't look directly at us, but you get that feeling that you're in the psychiatrist's chairs trying to figure out, you know, what are the motivations behind this boy. And I love the ending, you know, that final shot where he chooses to do the freeze frame and the zoom in. It has a little of everything. It has that sense of freedom, now that he's escaped. He's found the ocean, that excitement, and yet that trepidation. Where am I going now?
Yeah.
You know, what the hell am I going to do with my life?
Uh-oh.
You know?
Here I am.
Yeah, here I am now. I found the sea, and now where do I go? At least we can rush out and see the other 4 movies.
Yeah.
So we will be able to know. Poor Jean-Pierre, he has no idea at the end. Yeah, Darren.
I sort of think he might do a Forrest Gump and turn around and run to the other coast. You know?
Why not? To see what that looks like. We're up to the North Sea and check that out.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the world is his. And, you know, it's like, what are you going to do with it?
You do? Yeah.
Yeah.
That at the end, I don't know if anybody else noticed, but when he reaches the shore, like, you know, the end of the ocean, or the beginning, I don't know, you could see people that are holding the cameras and stuff in the background.
I didn't even notice
Oh,
that.
really?
Yeah, on the.
Oh, in the reflection
Yes.
of the water?
At
the water.
No
No,
kidding.
not of the water, before the water comes.
Okay.
Yeah, I could see all the shadows.
Oh, the
Yeah, the shadows.
Oh, wow.
I didn't see that.
Wow.
I was kind of.
Are you one of those people that say,
Subconscious.
you know, like the wine glass isn't the right size? You know, my mom's like that. You know, she
Yeah.
has that eye for God beauty, which
Yeah.
just
Yeah, I do.
freaks me out.
Which, by the
Yeah.
way, I watched the old Planet of the Apes,
Mhm.
and I did notice a few of miscontinuity.
You saw the first one, the first incarnation.
Yeah, I did.
Bless you, bless you. I didn't want you stuck with that Mark Wahlberg version. I wanted you to see Charlton Heston.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna have to talk about that. Did you enjoy it?
I did. I did.
Pretty cool, huh?
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, a lot more serious than the.
Yeah, but the lady when she's laying down, you know how she appears dead.
Yeah.
First she's like this, and then when they showed her again, she's like that.
Wow, nice catch. And do you know who that dead woman is?
No, I
Linda
don't.
Evans.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
Linda Evans.
Oh, really?
She was the star of like Dynasty and all those.
Oh.
Yeah, that was her first break, was being the dead woman in the opening 2 minutes of.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was sad. It seems like she grew old and then she died.
Yeah, because there was a crack in the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You-
Yeah, Marcy.
What I love about this film is that, I mean, I guess he was about 27 when he made
Yeah.
it. Sorry. So he had some maturity, but, and I guess he had a juvenile, he actually had kind of a juvenile coming up. But, I mean, it's made with a lot of love, really, and there's not a lot of bitterness in it, actually, but, you know, and, I mean, and it represents that thing of the, you know, okay, we're on the steps of some building, we're being let out, we're about to have fun, we had a bad experience, but here we go, we're gonna do something else now. And just I mean, the tone of it is just like perfect.
I think you chose the perfect word when you said love. I can't help but feel that when I watch this movie, that it is a labor of love. Love for life, love for cinema.
Yeah.
You know, it just, for me, I agree, it just emanates from the screen. It's like, wow, you know. And again, truly based on his own life experiences, you know, having checked himself out of school and deciding to self-educate himself by going to the movies and reading books. And yeah, I think it really informs it. You know, they always say about artists, you know, write from what you know. You know, especially writers, and you know, you'll come up with a more honest work. And I would have to agree, I think he poured his heart and soul in this from his own experiences, and look at the result. Something I think that really speaks a lot of truth to a lot of people. I know when I've shown it in classes before, a lot of young men really, really latch on to this film, you know, depending on, you know, their own upbringing or their own past, and it speaks to them to this day, you know. In spite of the fact that it's in black and white and in a foreign
I was
language.
just about to say that.
It's a universal experience, you know? I think a lot of us go through just finding ourselves. As simple as that. Whether we,
Yeah, I wonder if they make movies like this with colors, will it give the same impact? I highly doubt it. I
Good
highly
point.
doubt it.
and we've been talking about that earlier, about color and how it tends to distract and take away from
Mhm.
the importance of the message.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think black and white gives the clearness, the crystal message, the purity of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
Black and white does.
Well, it was so bleak, always raining and gray and,
Coming up to winter,
yeah.
yeah, so cold. Yeah.
I thought it was really interesting, not from a cinematographer's point of view, but just from the fact that back then, it was no big deal for those kids to be running around and helping themselves into the movies. If you saw a kid that age now going to the movies on their own, you'd be worried there's something very wrong.
Right.
And then it was just, oh, he's skipping school, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just, the whole culture of it was different,
Mhm.
the whole expectations for youth.
That's so interesting. You know, I never even stopped to think about that, Jenny. And I remember from the age of 10, I would always go on my own to Hollywood Boulevard and go to matinees, and there was never any question of it, you know? You're right, it was a very different time.
Mhm. More freedom.
A lot more freedom,
Mhm.
less
Well, the
worries.
world seems-
Or maybe the dangers were still there, but we just didn't know about them.
Yeah, that's true.
It's more publicized now that I think life is a little more sinister the way people, you know, are bad. You know, they're a little, you know, a little more bad. I mean,
Took it up a couple notches. Yeah.
Well, it's like the teacher said, you know, in 10 years, for instance.
Oh, yeah, oh, no, friends, yeah, 10 years from now.
All these kids have grown up and the world is a much more dangerous place now.
I tried so hard to use Sourpuss as my role model for my
Yeah,
teaching.
we
I
noticed.
failed miserably, but I'm trying. I really think he's got some good aspects.
Yeah, the disciplinarian.
Me, I'm gonna get going because I gotta go pick up my daughter.
All right, all right.
But
Well,
I enjoyed your class, as always. Thank
wonderful,
you.
wonderful. I just want to warn you, next week we are going into color. And it's not just color, it's going to be craziness. Okay? It's the movie Medium Cool. Shot
Oh, yeah.
in Chicago in 1968 when the Democratic Convention is going underway. And there was a huge police and National Guard response to the protesters. And our director, Haskell Wexler, is going to have his actress walking through the actual events and filming it. So it is like a docu-fiction, a combination of a created narrative with real-life events. You've never seen anything like it, ladies and gentlemen. So this is what we have to look forward to next week.
Nice.
Cool.
Do they have to have permission?
Medium cool.
No, that's the best part, guerrilla filmmaking.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yes!
I love it.
Did you like the film, Stan?
Your fingernails.
That's all right. Any other questions, comments on the 400 Blows?
so many little gems in it. That's, I mean, you know, it's just full.
Yeah.
What did you say? I can't hear.
So many little gems.
Oh,
in the
right.
film. Yeah.
You know, a lot of things came back to me that I couldn't remember, like the whole Honneur de Balzac, the lighting of the shrine thing. It's like, oh, wow, you know.
Gonna get him.
I know.
And how he came to appreciate the author and then being called like plagiarism, you know, and it's like,
Yeah.
I think the fact that he showed an enthusiasm for the author would have, you know, but that's not, yeah. I guess that doesn't fly. Oh, well. Teaching habits have hopefully changed. along the way. I think certainly disciplinary actions have changed.
Hopefully parenting habits have to.
I hope so, but
Maybe.
you never know.
Yeah.
You never know. I mean, I remember growing up, a lie was something you knew about but never told, and now it seems to be all about the art of the lie.
Mhm.
So that's a big shift.
What, a lie was something you knew about but you never told. You knew
Right.
that people did lie, you
Right.
just didn't do it yourself. huh?
Yeah, because you weren't supposed to. I mean, I never thought that anyone lied. I really didn't think anyone lied until I
Then you
was
found
27.
You're
Isn't that embarrassing? I mean, honestly, I had a pretty lovely, protected childhood. And I was one of my first employers, you know, who was just like, oh, yeah, we don't have any money to pay you, and what do you think of the new car we just bought? And I was like, oh, okay, you're lying to me. I had no conception of it before. Sheltered life I lived.
Good for you, good for you.
I think it's still better to grow up like that.
I think so too.
Yeah, oh, yeah.